well, we have inside the bracket, because we need to simplify this,
Yeah.
we have 2y minus, you can imagine there's a 1 here.
Yeah.
So what you're doing is you're distributing this. You're using distributive property to get rid of the bracket.
Okay.
So we have 3 bracket 2y. Now this negative 1 times negative y becomes
y.
So plus y, right? You have to include the sign. You can even put a 1 here just to remind you.
Minus 4.
Minus 4, good. Okay, so we almost got rid of that bracket. And then we have negative 2. We still have to simplify this. Remove this bracket, sorry. So we're going to keep this 5.
Plus 6y plus
6.
9.
Excellent. Because you're distributing this 3. Oops. Plus 9. Now we still have brackets, right? We have this 3 times, so we have 3 times all of this.
Yes.
And then we have negative 2 times all of that. So I'm going to get you to do that.
3y
6y
minus
plus
12.
3y minus 12. And then what sign would you put here? Because we're doing...
Minus?
Yep, negative 2 times a positive. It's negative 10.
Negative 10.
And then a negative times a positive is a...
Negative 12y.
And then a negative times a positive
18.
again. Good. Okay, so now all we have to do is add all your like terms together, combine them. So my like terms are 6y, positive 3y, and negative 12y. I like to write them all together. 6y plus 3y minus 12y, and then I have my constant terms, negative 12, negative 10, and negative 18.
Yeah.
Good. So when you simplify this, we get negative 3y, and then when we simplify this, we get negative 40. And that's the final answer. And I know I can't simplify it anymore because I have one variable term and I have one constant term, and I can't add those together.
2x3 minus...
To the power of 3, good.
Yeah.
So you're multiplying the x times the 2x squared. So you're technically multiplying the coefficients first, but because there's a 1 here, 2 times 1 is 2, and then you're multiplying the powers. X to the power of 1 times x to the power of 2 is...
x to the power of 3.
Good. X to the power of 3.
Minus x to the power of 2.
Excellent. Minus x to the power of 2. Plus x. Good. And then we have to multiply...
And minus 6x to the power of 2.
Negative 6x to the power of 2. And then a negative is
plus
a...
3x.
Positive. Good.
Minus 3.
Good. Minus 3. And then same thing. We want to combine our like terms, so you can only add powers that have the same exponent. So are there any powers that are to the power of 3?
No.
Just the first one, right?
Yeah.
And then we have negative 1x squared and negative 6x squared.
Yeah.
So if I put those together, I get...
Negative 7x squared.
Negative 7x squared. And then we have a plus 1x.
Plus 4x.
Good. And a plus 3x.
And minus 3.
Plus 4x, and then minus 3. Excellent. And I know I can't go any further because I only have one term that's x to the power of 3, one term that's x to the power of 2, one that's x, and then a constant term. So what we're doing here is we are multiplying 6d to the power of negative 2c to the power of 3 times this, but this is a power of a power. It's all of this to the power of negative 1. The reason we're not doing anything with the first bracket is because this is technically to the power of 1.
Okay.
So we can actually remove the bracket. We can write it as 6d to the power of negative 2, c to the power of 3.
Okay.
But we need to multiply it by everything inside the bracket. It's 3 to the power of negative 1. So I'm going to write that 3 to the power of negative 1. It's c to the power of 4 to the power of negative 1. So when you have a power of a power, what do we do with the exponents?
You multiply them?
Multiply, so it would be c to the power of
negative 4.
Good, negative 4. And then it's
d to the power of 5.
Perfect, because it's d to the power of negative 5 to the power of negative 1. We multiply negative, negative becomes positive. Yep. Okay, so let's do that. And then let's do this power of a power. It's everything to the power of 2.
It's 2 to the power of 2, then c to the power negative 6.
2, c to the power
and
of
d to the
negative
power
6.
of 4.
Perfect. Okay, so now everything's no longer a power of a power.
Yeah.
We are going to multiply, so we need to simplify the numerator. So we still have something to do with the numerator. Before we can divide this, let's simplify the numerator. Let's make it shorter. So what we're doing is we're going to multiply the powers with the same base.
Okay.
So when you multiply powers with the same base, what do you do with the exponents?
you add them.
Good. So like if I had x to the power of 2 times x to the power of 3, I would
X
get...
to the power of 5.
Exactly. So we're going to use that rule. So we have 6 to the power of 1. So don't forget there's an exponent there. Times 3 to the power of negative 1. What would that equal?
It's 18.
18 to the power of...
0. It's 1 plus negative 1.
Yeah.
There's nothing.
Yep.
0.
So what is any number to the power of 0?
1.
Yeah, exactly. So let's leave that like that right now. We'll simplify it later. Oh, geez.
Oh, power of 3.
D to the power of...
3.
Positive or negative?
Positive 3.
Well, it's negative 2
plus 5.
Plus
5.
Oh, sorry. I was looking. Yes, you're right. Plus 5, which is 3. Excellent. Because this power and this power have the same exponent or
to
base.
the power of negative 1.
Good. So it's C, and it's 3 plus negative 4
so
is
negative 1.
Negative 1. Good. Okay. So we've now simplified our numerator. And we're going to take that and divide it by 2 to the power of 2. I'm going to write D over here underneath. D to the power of 4 and C to the power of negative 6. This is similar to the other question. We are dividing. When we're dividing powers with the same base, what do we do with the exponents?
You subtract.
Good. So we can actually, I'm just going to put this over here so I don't go to the next page. We can change this 18 to the power of 0 to a 1, right? And we have, so let me just write it again. 1 times D to the power of 3.
C to the negative 1.
And then this is 2 to the power of 2. Let's simplify it. It's 4. D to the power of 4. C to the power of negative 6. Okay, so now we're going to divide. 1 divided by 4. Yep.
D to the power of negative 1.
Yep.
C to the power of 5.
5. Okay, now we need to get rid of this negative exponent. So what is it?
1 over D.
Right. So it would be 1 over 4 times 1 over D to the power of 1.
Yeah.
But we don't have to actually write
And
that.
then
And
C
then
to the
C
5.
to the power of 5.